Not at all. Look, well planning goes a long way, but you never know what's going to go wrong in a renovation, and I think you should always allow for it. Anyone that thinks that there's never going to be a problem usually encounters that problem. But fortunately we had no dramas, we had no breakages, no plumbing issues, and everything went well. It exceeds what I thought, to be honest with you. I'm more of a conservative person, especially from an investing point of view. I think it pays dividends if you are always conservative. I would have thought that from a bank valuation or a sale result, more importantly, because that's your exit strategy, somewhere in that $240,000 range or thereabouts, and to have the cash flow component in terms of rent somewhere around about that $330 a week. Probably about 300 renovations always helps, and leveraging off everyone around us that we know. So anywhere from the agents that we use day in, day out, and then comparing it against our own portfolios or our own clients' portfolios that have exposure in this area, and knowing what they get for rent, knowing what the bank valuations are, and in some case the sales results. But from a tradesman point of view, the tradesmen we use are the same people almost all the time, because they know how we work, they know what we expect, and for us to price something up when you use the same people, even suppliers, is essential. Look, I think you can always improve. If we had more time, little things such as the door jambs and doors, I prefer to see them painted in an enamel gloss as opposed to a water-based gloss. That's just my personal preference for longevity. But considering that we only had the 3 days, I don't think we could improve on it dramatically in any one area. And you could fine-tune bits and pieces in terms of waste management, getting rid of all the offcuts and debris, down to perhaps who was a better painter than who in certain rooms. But other than that, I don't think you could have got it much better to shave off a day or anything like that. It's really hard to manage free labour, being friends and family. In some circumstances there was probably a little bit too many people in one room. It didn't slow anything down, it just meant that some people were standing around perhaps not doing as much as they could have in another area. We've got to take into account though that this is only a 2-bedroom unit, and having all your friends and family in a 2-bedroom unit, you can be on top of each other, but the important thing is that the tradesmen all got along well. We warned them that they'd be on top of each other, and it was managed in a way that everyone gelled. So the staging in terms of what comes after what tradesman comes first, so on, went particularly well. I think it is, but they have to be involved and treat it from a non-emotive point of view. It needs to be well organised, and where people tend to fall down is they don't organise themselves well enough in terms of what comes before what in terms of the renovation, and having a lot of people on site to help them. People tend to think that they have to have paid labour everywhere. You can have family, friends, which was the case here, and many hands make light work. I think it's just very important that you don't renovate over and above what the demographic demands, really. We could have gone with Caesar stone bench tops and a higher quality tile, but it wouldn't have made any difference to the valuation or the saleability. It wouldn't have made any difference to the rentability. We're going for that cost effectiveness, and people tend to get a little bit emotional about what they do to a renovation, bearing in mind that this demographic really does warrant what we've produced, and it's just years of experience that's taught us that, and obviously being in close communication with your agents as well. And if I could give one tip before you start a renovation, that would be to get your local agents, especially your managing agent, involved if you're not too familiar with the area, and ask them what the public want and renovate accordingly. The biggest variable in any renovation is always the labour component, especially if you're paying for it, and a labourer or a handyman is somewhere in the vicinity of $45 to $65 an hour, and they warrant that because it's smaller jobs. But the labour went well. The kitchen, we knew what the fixed cost was. The bathroom, which was more labour, the tiles are tiles, we knew what they cost. It all went well.